Okay, so I wanted to make this video because, while the Chiefs don't care, they're celebrating their Super Bowl victory. There is some controversy about it due to the penalty towards the end of it. A controversial holding penalty on James Bradbury, which it was a weak call. I'm not as mad at it as some other people are, but it was a weak call. I think that's kind of, to me, that feels fair. There was a hold. I thought a couple things played into it that make it worse. For one thing, the camera angle they showed was not a great one to display the penalty, I thought. Also, I thought Greg Olsen was very much, hard on this was the wrong call in the broadcast booth. People always, if the broadcaster says the bad call, people are going to, lean into that more. And plus, I didn't love the call. So, there's also I'm not sure if it was the right call. All that obviously plays a role in all of this. But, okay, that being said, yes, it was a weak call, and it was in a big spot. I kind of feel like there's two main points I have for this one. The first is, you can't blame the refs anyways, but both teams got cost the possession due to a penalty here, right? The Chiefs in the first half, on a third down, were not able to get a first down on what was holding. That was a clear, should have been holding and was not called. Whereas later, you could argue that the Eagles were costed a possession to potentially go down the field and tie the game at the end of it. So even if you want to say here that the Eagles got screwed at the end, it's still even. Both teams got screwed if that's the way you view it. Personally, I've always been you can't blame the refs. Luck is a part of the game. Sometimes luck goes a certain way. Again, there was that. I didn't love the no catch call either. Although I have to say, I didn't think any of these were objectively wrong calls. I thought that the holding was the only one, what should have been called holding and wasn't, was the only one that I'm like, that's a wrong call. The two that went in favor of the Chiefs, I sort of felt like could go either way. So that's my first point on this, is I think that, I don't think that throughout the course of this game, the Eagles got massively screwed by the refs. Maybe you could argue the refs gave them a bit of a disadvantage, but that's really all, is they got a bit of a disadvantage, I think. The other thing is, again, someone brought up in the comments of my last video, and I think it's a good point, which is there's a real chance that part of why they called it kind of loose a little early on and then tightened it up at the end, because part of my point was that, well, if they weren't calling this on Bradbury earlier on in the game, how come you call it at the end of the game? But as someone brought up, maybe he got warned, hey, if you keep doing this, we're going to throw the flag. They do that all the time. We don't know. I can't jump to that conclusion, but there is a chance that happened. So I think that's my other point. And again, the other thing is, I do think that, the hold did slow the throw down. You can tell just by the, how far down the field the throw was, you can tell that the hold did slow the receiver down and meant the throw was too far. That's something that absolutely happened on top of it. And had that not happened, I do think that Chiefs fans are annoyed. I think Chiefs fans complain and say, hey, that should have been a penalty. And people say, well, you don't want the refs to affect the game. Let the players play. Well, if they got away with that and then were able to get a full 2-minute drive only needing a field goal instead of a touchdown, and maybe they get a touchdown and win the game in regulation, now Chiefs fans are pissed, and Chiefs fans are saying we should have gotten, away with that one, right? We should have been able to get a touchdown. We got screwed, right? So, I don't know. It's a tough situation. It's one call, but again, goes back to the main point of you can't blame the refs. Luck is a part of the game, and if you feel like the Chiefs got a little lucky here, okay, then maybe they got a little lucky. You could argue the Eagles got a little lucky with all of the 49ers quarterbacks getting hurt in the conference championship. Luck's a part of football. It goes both ways sometimes. And yes, I know people like to say that the Chiefs get all the calls. They really don't. And they kind of get a little bit more calls than the average team because they have superstars. Superstars tend to get more calls. But the idea that the league is rigged to get the Chiefs to win Super Bowls, trust me, if they're going to rig the league, they're not rigging the league for Kansas City, okay? They're going to find other teams to rig the league for. They'll rig the league for the Giants or something. They're not rigging the league for the market of Kansas City. I promise you that's not the case. But yeah, again, the reality is I just hate when people blame the refs and sort of discredit the way this goes. The Chiefs deserve this Super Bowl. They did. Even if the Eagles get the ball back, needing a touchdown down 3, odds are the Chiefs still win that game. Odds are, the Eagles would have had no timeouts at that point, so they couldn't run the ball too much. The chances are the Eagles do not get a touchdown there. Maybe they get a field goal, but then it goes into overtime. The reality is, yes, with the way these offenses were going, you have to feel good about those chances if you were an Eagles fan, and you would have loved to have the opportunity. I'm not saying you wouldn't have, but I'm also saying that, again, it just goes back to the people saying, oh, the only reason the Eagles lost is because of this. The only reason the Chiefs won is because of this. That's just not how it works. It's just not. So at least that's kind of my perspective on it. I think the Chiefs deserve to win. The Chiefs, to me, looked like the better team throughout this one. I really did. Again, maybe some people will disagree. What the Eagles did very well was on those 4th down and shorts. They were able to really convert on a ton of those. But I did feel like a couple of these Chiefs drives to kind of beat themselves a little bit. And I thought that, Nick Sirianni, his 4th down decision-making was really smart on converting on multiple 4th downs and also getting a conversion on a penalty on 4th down. So being able to convert on multiple of those 4th downs, whereas Andy Reid did not go for it, that kind of tilt the scales in the other favor. But, the Chiefs did outgain the Eagles in this one, and that's, again, they outgained the Eagles, got a defensive touchdown and nearly a punt return touchdown, and still had a better yards per play, not total yards. So when you factor those two things in, I thought the Chiefs were a better team. I thought the Chiefs deserved to win. If I'm an Eagles fan, am I saying that we got screwed? Absolutely. Of course I am. And if I'm a Chiefs hater, am I saying that the Chiefs got lucky? Absolutely. That's what I'm doing. But again, you had a 10-point lead in the 4th quarter, and your whole sort of game plan is built on you have these great second quarters, which they did. They outscored the Chiefs 17-7, and then you run out the clock, and they didn't run out the clock. They legitimately stopped running the ball when they were up in the second half, which I didn't get at all, and that, to me, that's the bigger thing to complain about. The bigger thing to complain about is how their corners kept getting fooled by the same move in the red zone, right? They gave up that big punt return because their punter, wasn't fully healthy, and he wasn't able to make the good punt, which we had actually talked about in the preview show. I mentioned that when I made my special teams preview, was all of that stuff. These were the issues. Your defense giving up 38 points is the issue, not one questionable call that, again, it was questionable. Go back and watch my video. There was a bit of a tug there. It wasn't like it was just some, there was no hold whatsoever. I thought it was weak. I don't like the way the game had been called. I don't love calling it in that spot. I agree with that, but just, does that discredit the Chiefs' victory? Absolutely not. Will people try to use it as a way to discredit the Chiefs' victory? Absolutely. Listen, you're the new dynasty. You're the new hot team. You're the new team that everyone wants to tear down. You're gonna get the criticism. That's just how it works. No team has ever had sustained success and remained likable. In the history of sports, when you win 1, people like you. When you win 2, everyone hates you. So congratulations, you've earned everyone hating you, but you've earned it. The Chiefs have earned it. The Chiefs were the better team. They deserve the Super Bowl victory. Eagles were a great team, but they did not deserve to win the Super Bowl. That's how I see it. I'm sure plenty of you will disagree. Plenty of you will call me stupid. Hey, that's what we do here in the YouTube comment section, especially on Super Bowl Sunday. So let me know what you thought in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.